What's going on, guys? Hopefully my mic's not gonna die again. Oh, story of my life. Basically almost 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks out on the road with one day being a home. And this video, the person who actually drives a truck, they probably will understand what I'm talking about. But the people who don't drive a truck, hopefully they get some sort of shape and form, understanding what the driver goes through being on the road for 3 weeks. Or 4 weeks, or 5 weeks, or 6 weeks. But it's a tough one, don't get me wrong. You get irritated with everything. Lately you get irritated with mask mandatory in different states, and you get irritated with different drivers. Like, for the example, we were parked opposite way this morning. May Trucking right beside me, so I can see his driver's side door into my mirror. So I grabbed my toothbrush this morning, my toothpaste, and decided to go brush my teeth and get a cup of coffee, do my business. Just about to open the door, I look in the mirror. There's a garbage, trash bag of garbage float out to his window. I'm like, all right, well, I seen that guys do that, throw it out, and then they go outside and pick it up and put it in their garbage. So I says, whatever. So I stepped over it. I went inside, got my coffee, brushed my teeth, whatever. Come back out, the truck is gone and the garbage laying on the floor. And you looking at this, like, I stopped and I look at this and I was like, dude, really? You think about it, if you staying out on the road so long, doesn't matter which truck stop it is, it makes you a lot more happier when you show up and it's a clean truck stop. When you have piss jugs laying all over the place, you start getting irritated with that. I should have took a picture of his drive license and called the company and read him out, because that's what it takes. The people like that does not belong in this business. So by being on the road for that long, I always think about the guys, the sailors, they go out in the ocean 6, 8, 7 months at a time, living on a boat, on a ship. I mean, it's hard to imagine to be on the road, but to be doing that, I don't know, maybe it's different atmosphere. I mean, what is the trucking's all about? You get up in the morning, you either loading, unloading, do whatever, and you get on and you watch TV. I consider TV is your windshield. It's road, 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 road. At the end of the day, you go back to the bunk. And you get up and you start over again. And then you do over and over every single day. It's a pretty straightforward job. Physically, it's not hard. Mentally, it's very hard. Like, mentally, it's hard, especially when you have a family. Some guy's gonna say, it's like, you're pussy. It's like, really? Dude, it's not that bad. No, it's bad. Like, you do it many enough years, you start understanding, like, this day, like today's 3rd, 4th, 21. This day never gonna come back. Like, you literally chasing a long dollar, and then at the end of the day, you're gonna go take a shower and go to bed, and tomorrow morning, you gotta do the same thing again. I mean, it's hard to process, but it gets really boring. But at the same time, you can say, well, what's the difference with a person who gets up at 8 o'clock in the morning, goes to the office, and comes back home? He comes back home. That's the difference. Yes, you still do the same thing. You work from 8 to 5, 8 to 6, whatever. But you got up in your own bed, and you went to back home to your wife or your husband, whatever, your kids. You sleep in your own bed. You know what drives me nuts? The people who, like at the FMCSA, who writes the regulation for the trucking industry. None of them ever been behind the wheel of a truck. I'm not talking about being gone overnight. in the truck. It blows my mind away. We put the people in charge to regulate a business they never been in it. Why is it that way? Why? I said numerous times we have a people sitting in the sideline on the sidelines who have been doing this job for years. Guarantee you, if the people done this job for at least a week or 2 weeks, that 34-hour restart would not exist. The 14-hour rule would not exist either. Because that's mind-boggling to force a driver to sit in a truck stop for 34 hours without the pay, to restart, to refresh. It doesn't matter you're driving or you're sitting, you're still going to sit behind a wheel and look out the window and look at the watch when your 24 hours is going to roll in, so you refresh your hours. I think this crap should not exist. It should be 11 hours, 14, 11, 14, that's it, unlimited. And let the people work. They want to do this, let them do. And the reason I say that, I used to race dirt bikes. So you take a track, and your first lap usually be the slowest, and then the more laps you put it on, the faster it becomes. You become more alert because you started learning. So by taking 34-hour restart, it doesn't prevent you from being a safer driver or you relaxing, something like that, because you're still going to sleep in the same bed, and you're going to sit during the day and wait till your hours click in the same seat. So the logic behind it is none. Like, I don't understand. I mean, you start thinking about a lot of weird stuff, like how unfair the whole idea is of trucking when you've been on the road for so long. Don't get me wrong, you do make good money, but quite often you ask yourself, is it worth it? Some people are going to say it's a freedom. Not really. When you own your own equipment, you have insurance, repairs, truck payments, insurance again, random breakdowns. It's not like I can work 1 week and then I can go home for 4 weeks. No, it doesn't work that. You actually end up working more than as a company driver, because when you come back home, you got to fix things, you got to grease things, you have to cut up things at home, so you end up doing the same thing. Because the liability and responsibility you own in your own business, it's 24/7, 365 days a week. If you're a company driver, soon that truck is off and you're home, you don't care. You don't have to fix nothing. You don't have to do anything till you come back to work. So the ideology of being an owner operator or get your own authority or driving, I see a lot of guys like, I want to own my own truck. It's a good idea, don't get me wrong. I have no regrets. But in the long run, you got to be willing to work. Is it rewarding? Not really, not always. And that's from bottom of my heart, not lying. There's quite a few times I almost went broke by my own stupidity, by buying the wrong equipment, by doing the wrong things, chasing only certain freight. That's another thing that people think is like, when I buy my own truck, I'm only going to run south, or I'm only going to go west, or that's not how it works. It's not you're not the one who controls the market controls you. Holy moly, that Wyoming's Road 25 is rough. I hope you guys got the point. So it's a tough business. I love it. Like, I have no regrets what I do. I absolutely love trucking. I think it's the business idea is there, but it's just a lot of unfair things. Like I said, regulation, DOT. Speaking of that, I asked today when I was buying a permit in Wyoming, the Wyoming DOT is in my opinion, the coolest one. And I asked, like, hey, just for the curiosity, it was a girl and two dudes sitting. I says, is any of you guys ever drove a truck? And the one guy says, like, yeah, I grew up on a farm and I haul hay once in a while, helping my dad back in the day. I says, and then the girl's like, I never been inside of the truck. And then the other dude's like, me neither. Why you ask? I says, with all due respect, it's the funniest thing, enforcing rules, the law, by never doing that job. And the guy's like, what do you mean? I'm like, enforcing the law on the job what you guys never done. And he's like, dude, makes sense. I never thought about it that way. I says, there's some things like, when I tell you, like, you have to understand, you're not going to understand because you didn't go through the same thing as I did. Like, I never can say what the police officer goes through when he's in a shootout with the criminals. By understanding, enforcing in the perfect world, which will never happen, but correct me if I'm wrong, in a perfect world, by enforcing the law, the regulation on certain industry, you have to be in that industry to understand the inside from inside out. That's never going to happen. So, that's my video for today, and maybe it's a little boring or maybe a little rude, but I was driving. I figured I'm going to record this, and comment it below. What do you think? I mean, did you stay? What's the longest you ever been on the road if you're a driver? And do you get emotionally, mentally tired too, or it's just me? Maybe I'm a chicken, like I'm not meant for that. But like, I don't like to stay out for too long. Like 3 weeks, like 2 weeks is max. Like I need to cut back on this because it literally people that just start driving you. Like everything started irritating. The road, the steering wheel, everything's uncomfortable. You just want to get out of it at this point in time. So, anyways, thanks for watching all. God bless you and God bless America. Stay safe.